working out for them.
Yeah, I expect to see that for sure. And this is, I mean, if you're watching this and you're thinking Paradigm, you know, there's no point, you're completely wrong. Completely wrong. This is Trials. You can sometimes see, you know, Academy teams pick up a team from Trials, and then there's another spot open. Paradigm need to make sure that they're keeping their heads in the game so they can keep their map differential high, so that, you know, if a spot does wind up opening up, they can scoop that one up. This is not, they're not down and out just yet. This still matters for them.
Absolutely. Paradigm now out the gate. Zen Goats towards the left side, getting on that high ground, looking to collapse onto phase 2, who are just ready for it. And these winning conditions at the start, when it comes to Zen Goats, is breaking down the shield of the Reinhardt, collecting energy for your Zarya to get the grab first, or maybe catching a support, or a Brigida especially going for a stun that's being a little bit too ambitious.
Phase 2 backed them off for now, and Duplicate definitely getting a couple of good swings in there. Paradigm have to be careful about Duplicate because he's been so solid. Now, going to be going up to the high ground for Paradigm as they can just kind of funnel down, but still have to be careful when they do wind up doing that. They can be caught off guard.
Paradigm caught a little bit on the high ground, a little bit on the low ground. Both Reinhardts have to regenerate their shield, but this has kind of been the same trend between both these teams, right? They just take a long time to get these fights started, but when they do, they just wait for that round of ultimates to come in, and Paradigm will be closer to the Graviton just by a few, but this could be what Paradigm need to get point A.
We'll see them rally and start engaging now, but the protection is there for Duplicate. Wasn't quite there for Mixo.
Well, Dia's gonna have Transcendence, and you might need it at the later parts of this fight. Lisu's gonna have Grav, so is Onyx though, but no self-destructs from either team. The Grav is thrown from Lisu, the Transcendence from Nishik is there. There might not be enough damage to rain through, and now Onyx throws his Grav, and again, not enough damage to go into Dia's Transcendence. Mixo gets a shatter, but the barrier keeps Pika and Onyx alive and well. What a double kill from Brett though, catching some phase 2 defenders off guard. Now 6 versus 4. Paradigm should get point A here.
That was purely timing from Brett coming in and making an impact the way that we saw him in the past, and definitely like to see that Paradigm playing off of that. Well, now they have the first point capped. However, they did expend a lot of their resources to get there. Dia, you know, he's been very good about getting his Transcendences up quickly when they need them, and they're going to need them, you know, they're going to need things like that going into this second point where, realistically speaking, it's going to be very tough unless they find some way to get some early picks to get that advantage and get the second point capped here and now.
Lisu much quicker on his build-up time here for the Grav. He's 15% away. This could be how they snowball into it, but again, they don't have the self-destruct to pair with it. Paradigm gonna go in again, but they walk into a shatter from Duplicate. Stalls him out for the moment. Phase 2 didn't have an opportunity to follow up with that, but they did still take Hope out of the picture, and Brett's out of mech. He engaged without the rest of the team, and Paradigm with 5 minutes left reset.
Really good from phase 2 there. Only utilizing the shatter. That's ultimate efficiency right there on display, and Paradigm not coming away with too much. I mean, Paradigm really wanted to make sure that more was going to be expended there. They wanted to force phase 2 to pop their Transcendence, then they'd have that advantage into this next fight. But now we're going to see Paradigm maybe try to force a push that's going to be very dangerous for them because it's Onyx and Pika have that combo coming up themselves to match Lisu and Brett.
Who's going to pull the trigger first on their combo, and can it even be successful? We haven't seen that many multi-kills. It's Nishik who has Trans, and you have Dia matching that ultimate as well. No barriers online yet. Paradigm throws out their grab, self-destruct combo. The stun almost broke through Duplicate, but Nishik was there with the healing of the Transcendence. Double kill response for Pika self-destruct. The combo was just so much stronger there for phase 2.
And it continues to be stronger for phase 2. They're doing so well at managing that in a time where it's very difficult to do that because of the Brigida changes. You can't just shield bash through anymore. You have to be aware of the angle that the Reinhardt's going to take and take the opposite one so that you can actually lower that barrier or at least land the charge from your Reinhardt. So phase 2 now, they landed the combo. They also have the barrier to go against Chops, and Duplicate, he's been really, really solid with these Earth Shatters, could shut things down just by himself.
Mixo, can he turn the fight just by himself with the shatter? He's getting swung at so much, and because of the Discord, he just died right away for Paradigm, and that's that fight aggression that phase 2 always like to pre-engage with, and this gets them these fight wins without having to invest anything.
And FaZe 2 like getting aggressive in those situations because what it forces out of the attacking team, Paradigm is just forced to kind of take those two different routes out of that fight. And when you see one side going with the Reinhardt and the other side not going with the Reinhardt, well, guess who's going to get shattered every single time? Duplicate can take those opportunities. So they want to play this aggressively when they have that advantage, and they're going to play into it every single time. FaZe 2 have that once again here, so they could go for it themselves.
Still a shatter versus shatter, but Onyx has grabbed before Lisu. You got so many options for the defense to defend with. Paradigm, they start the rally, they get on the point, but they get grabbed there from Onyx. No self-destruct. The barrier, oh, the shatter from Duplicate gets everyone down, but Duplicate might be too aggressive. He was so low, but thankfully the bubble and the healing keeps that main Reinhardt player for FaZe 2 alive. Speaking of not being alive, Paradigm are back in spawn.
And FaZe 2 have done it yet again. Just wiping the floor. Duplicate, yeah, very aggressive there, swinging at like 10 HP, but the sports did a good job of letting him know that he was safe in that time, and they didn't have to expend an ult to get it done as well. So really, really composed in this moment. FaZe 2 looking solid, and I like to see that because in those moments, it's very easy to just pull the trigger on a Transcendence or pull the trigger on a Sound Barrier to try to save your Reinhardt in a scenario where you didn't need it.
And Onyx is almost lapping Lisu. He's almost gonna have another grab in the later stages of this fight. Paradigm, they need to set up this grab. They're getting closer to the point, but they start getting warded off from the rally of FaZe 2. Lisu looks for an opportunity for the grab. He gets grabbed himself, or no, he throws out his own grab, catches FaZe 2, who were overextending, but Nishik's Transcendence keeps them up. Paradigm just waiting for an opportunity, but they get grabbed from Onyx. They don't die yet, thankfully, because of the Transcendence, but Duplicate follows up with a shatter, and Paradigm, they have their chances crushed time and time again.
1:15 on the clock now. That is so crazy that they have just been able to just brutally rip down Paradigm's attack, dismantle them time and time again, and now there's only a minute left here, Jen, and Paradigm don't look like they're poised to take this point at all. I mean, what kind of advantages do they even have? They have the Sound Barrier ready, but that could be matched by Transcendence. And if you're talking about a 1-to-1 engage, Transcendence versus Barrier, I'm telling you right now, Transcendence will win that every single time. So FaZe 2 with a huge win condition here, should they want to pull that out before Lisu gets that grab at the ready.
It's been feeling like FaZe 2 have always thrown their ultimates first, and they get the advantage in the early fight. Paradigm need to match that aggression. Mixo is going in and now receives the barrier. This is their time to respawn, but FaZe 2 sustain with a Transcendence. Lisu's ready with the grab, and there's all the damage that Paradigm need. But they're actually down by so much. FaZe 2 just cleared Paradigm. 15 seconds left, and Paradigm, I don't think they can touch.
Where's Chopped, though? He's in the back. He can actually get to the point, but they found him. He went a little early there, maybe.
Oh, I don't think Paradigm can touch, and Mixo is just like, well, I'm just gonna shatter, because I'm feeling really sad after that. And Paradigm with, 5+ minutes to get point B done. Round after round after round of ultimates, it's FaZe 2 looking so much more superior.
Yeah, in that situation, you want to split the defense with your Lucio, who stayed alive, hid, go out at the last second, and get onto the point by actually wall riding up. You get a little bit airborne, and that gives you the elusiveness that you need, actually, to get onto the point and not get thrown right off of it like you did. Just basically a offensive line of just players right in his face, just push him off. But they make the stop, and now FaZe 2 have it set. All they need is that first tick on second point here on Volskaya, and they will take the 2-1 lead. But remember, this is Paradigm in a position where they still want to hold out. They still want to do as best as they can because they're not completely down and out. There's a lot of ways where this can work out for them if they continue to play well in this match.
I've just felt like FaZe 2's defense was always ready. They always had a plan for how the fight was going to go. They always used their ultimates first and got the advantage first in the early fight, which I felt like Paradigm always had 1 or 2 down. And even when they had the ultimate advantage, even when they had combo, it was never pulled off. Right. And it sucked to see how much time they had and all the tools that they had, and point B was not a thing. But they have a real chance here to pull off just as much of a solid defense as FaZe 2 did.
Yeah, and it starts here on this first point. You have high ground control, you have that standard defense that pretty much everybody starts out with. And you basically take this, you drop down to first point once you see where the attacking side is going, and then you just play the opposite side and then have your Reinhardt controlling that close corner, and it's really, really solid for you, especially if you can get control of that cubby where the mega health pack is. But already we're seeing phase 2 take that away from them, and they're going to have Nishik kind of safely either on high ground or on top of the health pack, where it's almost unpushable. Phase 2 with kind of an advantage here on the attack.
Well, phase 2 come out of the mega pack room, and they're trying to collapse onto the front line here of Paradigm, who are just getting displaced, but thankfully no one's dropped yet. Phase 2, they take a moment to get their cooldowns ready, and this might be the same sort of attacking deja vu of both teams not necessarily playing too aggressive until they have ultimates.
Oh, they do wind up going out, and Mixo kind of out of position here. They threw him off phase 2 with an advantage.
Wow, 6 versus 4 now. They're just in cleanup mode, and they haven't even needed to use any ultimates. It was Paradigm that needed a whole round of ultimates to get point A, and now phase 2 will have close to everything getting into point B.
This is really, really good for phase 2. Remember, they only need that first tick on point B, and going into that attack, they do have all the weapons that they need to make it happen. Although, look at this, Paradigm are ready to make the stop. Mixo has to show up in this fight, or else they will lose this map here. 6.5 minutes they have to defend this point for.
Can they get it done? You have to survive so many rounds of ultimates. This is going to be a tough task for Paradigm, and they have to be very economical with their support ultimates, and at the right moment too. So phase 2, step onto the point, getting ready to maybe set up duplicate with the shatter coming up, and he gets bursted down there from Paradigm, getting ready with their Transcendence to just run over phase 2.
That was actually so good for phase 2. That was so good for phase 2. They utilized the rally and pulled out a rally and a Transcendence. Remember, they have 6 minutes to build into whatever they want to get that first tick. So you not only, you just win one fight, and that's it. There's no ability for them to come back from respawn and try to contest at 95% and just stall it out. There's no way, no how. Phase 2, 1 for 2. That's positive economy delta, and that's a win condition for this next fight.
5 ultimates for phase 2. Will this be the fight? They can take a lead in this series. The grab, the self-destruct. Does it equal in kills? It's blocked. Paradigm, they're ready with their own volley of ultimates. They throw out the grab, but Chopped is ready to sustain them. A shatter gets everyone from phase 2 on the ground. They're still alive for the moment, but they don't have everyone alive. Now they just want to break down the remaining forces here of Paradigm. They get Brett out of mech. Dia uses the Transcendence to stall and keep Hope and Lisu alive, but they don't have any more ultimates to keep this defense going.
But the attacking side is in the same position, and they're low. There's nothing to get them healthy. Phase 2 stacking both of their support ults at the same time for just a self-destruct. Might have been the nail in the coffin on that push, and now they're going to look to re-engage here with the Transcendence. Once Nisha can get that up, they're going to try to be aggressive here because nothing available for Paradigm. We'll have to see if they can get it done.
Phase 2, they have the Transcendence Nishik and a rally from King. Phase 2, start the rally, getting a little bit of an advantage at the start. They boop mix, so into the line of fire. No main shield here for the defense. Phase 2 now need to be patient here. They use the Transcendence. They need to run over the rest of Paradigm, who use the rally. 2 down, and Lisu dies 15% away from the grab, and Paradigm don't have a chance. I mean, Brett also died with like 2% away from self-destruct. 4 minutes left, 33% is all phase 2 needed, and they will lead the series 2-1.
Still, phase 2, they want to just win out this series. They want to do it so that they can make sure that they are clinching that last spot and nobody can contest them. Right now, they are 2-4 in the standings. A win here would effectively give them that guarantee that they want. They don't want to have anything up to chance at all, so they want to continue this here. Phase 2 looking strong, though. Volskaya, though, that was a dangerous one.
Both these teams, found themselves at the bottom half of the teams in trials. Phase 2 is 2 and 4, Paradigm 1 and 5, and both these teams, not only is a win gonna help Phase 2 go into Contenders. Paradigm needed to secure that 4-0 to get themselves in Contenders, but Paradigm just, I think, wanted to put their foot down in trials to be able to say that they deserve to be here, and that, like you said, there's still a lot of opportunity for individual players to get themselves to Contenders by getting picked up from teams that need some players.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, if you're Paradigm, if you're any team, like Triumph as well. Triumph was a team that it was very difficult for them to be put in a position where, it was going to be a stretch if they were going to be able to make it into Contenders, but by doing so well, they give not only their players, but also their team as a whole the best chance of, having something work out for them in the future. And that's what you want to do as a team. You want to make sure that you're maintaining your composure in these situations so that you give your squad the best possible chance, whether it be just the players or the team as a whole, because like I mentioned before, there have been a lot of situations in the past, not just a couple, but, quite a bit of situations where an academy team winds up picking up just a full roster out of trials that winds up doing well. I mean, there is a world where a team like Square One will want to be picked up, right? I mean, someone will want a team like that because they're insane.
This next match could be, or this next map could be insane. 2-1 here for Phase 2. Paradigm, could they send us into a Game 5, or Phase 2 going to close it out here? And I wonder how much mentally this starts to set in, like, as this is your last match in trials, how much are these teams thinking about, like, oh my god, are we out? Are we in? Someone get their calculator. I don't know. And I don't know how much teams are really look into that, because to be honest, I'd be a type of coach that, play like you're in Contenders already, or play like this is your last match of your entire career, because they got to play like this. They got to keep their head in the game. And Paradigm definitely feeling the heat after that previous map loss.
Absolutely, and Phase 2 looking to clinch this one here and now. Junkertown, this is the map choice of Paradigm. They go here all the time. Let's see if they can lock it in. Holding close up first right here, and we will see the swaps coming from Paradigm as they take out the 3-3 of their own and looking to duke it out on the payload.
Yeah, Phase 2 just trying to waste some time here. If they can get an initial pick, force Paradigm to reset, that'd be great, but the spawns are clearly favoring Paradigm, but how did they lose Mixo so early? Now Paradigm go back into the spawn room, get all the healing, and Phase 2 will hold the fortress.
You really like what everybody from Phase 2 is able to do there. I mean, Faz, it doesn't even stop there too. I mean, Duplicate with his hammer, King, Pika, all the displacement happening. Mixo has been caught out of position over a half dozen times now.
Mixo already had the Discord Orb on him as he walked out of spawn, so he was trying to be a little too aggressive, and his team really need to protect him with all the bubbles, all the healing, all the armor. Mixo is always a target of focus from Phase 2.
Hanging in there, but there is Lisu's grab.
It's great. Is it successful? They've gotten Duplicate out. Transcendence from Nishik, not enough, but it might be enough just to give Phase 2 a little bit extra room for aggression now that it's over with. Pika's about to get demeched, and Paradigm might just have enough room to breathe.
And room to breathe is what they need right here, and start thinking about this next fight. Start thinking about what combinations they want to go through, how they want to strategize and execute that strategy for this next fight, because they still do have a couple of situations. I mean, with the way that they won that last one, they only have to probably win one more fight unless some kind of stall opportunity arises for Phase 2. But that next fight is going to be very important. They want to get it early so they have a good time bank into the second phase, which is very, very difficult in the 3-3 matchup.
Yeah, they've given themselves a second fight chance. Onyx is ready with the Grav, and he's going to be launching it on the high ground. Pika's looking for an opportunity for him with the self-destruct, and they might actually not even need the combo. There's the grab, or not even the grab combo, the self-destruct from Brett that opens up plenty of opportunity for Paradigm. So Phase 2, because they were so patient when they had the ultimates, this just got them to lose point A when they could have won it.
Yeah, patience is key here. Duplicate opened things up, but they just didn't have anybody alive there. And Phase 2 likely won't be able to contest on point A, but it looks like they're going to go for it instead. I mean, they do have Faz there with the speed. They do have both their support ults, so they can rush in there and try to go for a combo play.
One last contest from phase 2. The engage with Nishik and the grab versus grab. Self-destruct from Pika, but not from Brett. It's not explosive enough, but barrier starts to be used from Paradigm. Was used earlier from Faz, and this gives Paradigm just that later fight advantage, just enough to puncture through phase 2's defense. Now they had no Reinhardt, they only have a Zarya and Pika who's out of mech, so thankfully phase 2 have wasted a lot of time. It came down to the last minute of the game for Paradigm to get point A.
Yeah, I mean, team fights right now are 3-1 in favor of Paradigm, but look how much time has just been eliminated. And that is effective play from phase 2 in terms of engaging as often as possible and staying in those fights. You don't have to win them every single time. It's just about closing maps out when you do have those leads. But now, phase 2 getting ready to go ahead and go in there once more. Still, though, Paradigm, because of that last fight, they do have Brett's self-destruct built up here, and they can basically de-nest them from this high ground by utilizing that aggressively and forcing pressure onto Duplicate.
Well, there's that self-destruct. Is it enough? It doesn't catch anyone, but what space creation it got. Paradigm focusing on Pico, who's on the cart by himself. Faz trying to heal him up, but it's just not going to be enough. Already phase 2, their defense has crumbled. They just didn't look like they had time to set up.
Perfect execution with Brett's self-destruct. That's exactly how you want to do it. You want to use that aggressively. You want to make sure that you don't have to use anything else. You go right for the Reinhardt. They even found a consolation prize in King's death as well. So worked out really well for them. Now it's about just sustaining here. This is a fight that they have to win. This one will unlock the second point.
Gonna be Shatter versus Shatter, but Lisu has grab. You want to keep it. Oh, he's stunned out of his Shatter. Not gonna work. Duplicate gets a few down. Nishik uses trance equally at Daya. Everyone is nice and healed up, but the defense don't have a main Reinhardt, and they looking to even up those odds. Paradigm take out now the Zarya from the defense. Phase 2 want to keep those ultimates, or maybe not. Faz decides to use the barrier to sustain the rest of his team, but it was already a lost fight, it seems, and Paradigm will get point B.
Now look at what Paradigm have. Chop didn't have to utilize his barrier. He was so patient. I mean, a lot of players in that particular situation would have used the barrier, right? And they would have just gone beat for beat, and they would have tried to take the fight from there. But now they have that advantage going into this next fight. And not only that, but they have that combo that everybody wants to see more of. Lisu, Brett, combining for that self-destruct grab, looking to try to take it down. They don't even necessarily have to use it because phase 2 won't have a support ult to defend against the grab. You can just cleave into a grab.
Paradigm, they have their grab, but kind of didn't pair that with Brett's self-destruct, but they'll do just fine when Mixo just raising all the damage into it. And phase 2 again, not having the right setup. Paradigm had high ground control. They dropped right on top of phase 2 and surrounded them.
Now they have the self-destruct. Execution last time was flawless. Have to see if they can get it again here. I mean, the backup is going to have to come from Nishik with the Transcendence to try to keep Duplicate alive, and then maybe see if they can get a Shatter down against Mixo, who's been really riding on a high so far.
Brett's self-destruct kind of messed up phase 2, broke down their shield already. Duplicate under fire, burst it down. Paradigm, though, they're down by 1. And now they lost Brett's mag. This won't be the fight that Paradigm can keep pushing this card.
They're still just building some things up, though, right? I mean, when you are taking those L's, you want to make sure that you're not coming away with a big fat red one on your forehead, right? You still want to have something to come away with. So Graviton is going to be that prize that they have obtained for themselves. Still have to worry about Itsonix and Pika. They've been so good. But now at least you give yourselves a fighting chance to try to close this map out right here and right now.
Well, Paradigm are going for that high ground, though. Phase 2 only have Pika up there. The only one that can get up there. Drops down. Paradigm could be setting up a Shatter first. Actually, grab to grab. Self-destruct not used from Pika quite yet. Transcendence is also mirrored from both sides. No one's out yet. Self-destruct's at the back from Pika. It doesn't catch anyone either. This has been crazy how much people can sustain themselves in these fights. Paradigm, though, they've lost their Reinhardt and a few more supports. Again, this won't be the fight that Paradigm can come out ahead.
That was actually a good setup, though, from Paradigm. They just weren't able to get anything off it because of the self-destruct that came out from Pika. I mean, Duplicate was actually airborne, so when Mixo threw the Earthshatter out, everybody got hit by it. But again, because of the self-destruct, everybody had to kind of turn and make sure that they were out of line of sight of that one, or at least Mixo was putting his barrier up. So unfortunate for them. Now they have 25 seconds left. So this is last fight. They're only going to come into this one with a rally and a self-destruct, and that is it.
Duplicate. You got to keep an eye on him. He's going to have Shatter. Self-destruct set at the back. And he's looking for it. Slams down. It's blocked there from Mixo. Now Paradigm, 9 seconds left. This is their last fight, but Mixo's bursted down. His shield was broken. Now Paradigm don't have a main shield. Can they still turn this fight over? Lisu dies 30% away from grab. Brett's out of mech. Paradigm's chances are crushed when it comes to finishing off Junkertown. FaZe 2 even have leftover ultimates. Now that winning condition will be set on FaZe 2's attack. If they finish Junkertown, they will win the series 3-1 over Paradigm.
So FaZe 2 looking like they could do it here. They're up 2-1 in the series. I really like the way, though, that they played on that first point. Think about how much time they pulled out by effectively still just losing fights. I mean, even into that second phase of the map, they were still losing a lot of these fights, but by sustaining for so long, they gave themselves the best opportunity to actually make the stop down the line. And that's what you get with these very aggressive first point holds, where you have those opportunities to take 3 separate fights and lose all 3 of them. I mean, if every one of those fights takes like a minute to win, because you are running 3-3 with the changes to the Brigida, you know, there's not as many openings to run down Reinhardt, so you can sustain a lot longer. That's 3 minutes off the clock. You're forcing the other team to win 3 fights in a row and still only have a minute left on the timer when they actually score that first point.
And you even spoke about at the end of point C, like Paradigm went in with so many ultimates, ultimate advantage because FaZe 2 invested a little bit more at the end of point B to hold that defense. And Paradigm, it felt like Mixo was under so much more pressure. He was always the first to drop because of the discord from Nishik and because you had Pika just go in on him with those micro missiles. So Mixo was always out, and this gave either free shatters to duplicate or just less damage mitigation in general for Paradigm. So it felt like it had real chances, but just that one kill in the early fight opened up so many opportunities for FaZe.
All right, so Paradigm looking to defend here. Only got those 2 points, but they got some distance for themselves. Now they're looking to try to hold close just as well. King gonna be making the swap here before they actually do engage, but still, FaZe 2 versus Paradigm, it's gonna come down to how Paradigm can win these fights out early on.
Oh, Lisu got stunned, got a bit in trouble early. And FaZe 2 trying to break out of spawn, you know, kind of a deja vu of what each other ran to kind of force that second fight before A. And FaZe 2 just haven't built any space so far. It might be up to some ultimates. They've gotten Mixo low. Now a little bit of space is created here for FaZe 2, who are just trying to play together. And they have Onyx in the back on the high ground, able to get more ult charge from being able to shoot his right clicks over the shields. But Pika gets booped off the map. FaZe 2 not having the best of luck so far.
And Lisu, you can see the damage that he was putting in with those right clicks. Everybody just getting chunked from FaZe 2, and they were forced to back up. And now we'll see it's Onyx take the high ground. They're going to have to lock him down out of it, but there's the Graviton already from Lisu.
Yeah, he decides to grab Pika and King, walks away with a kill onto King. And FaZe 2, I mean, 6 versus 5, or 5 versus 6, I guess, for them. They can still win this. They can still turn it around, and its duplicator will do just that, but the Transcendence from Dia was ready. So FaZe 2 can't follow up on that. They don't have enough damage to break through. Self-destruct finds Spaz at the back. Again, FaZe 2 always missing 1 or 2. Pika tries to even up the odds with that self-destruct, but Paradigm always in the number advantage. FaZe 2 have the closer spawn, so eventually they should be able to break through this.
Eventually, but just certainly not yet. Lisu could go down here, and it's Onyx on the high ground is making it happen. After dropping his grab, he is now kind of caught up and now surpassed Lisu on this grab charge, who was very far ahead of him prior to this. So good stuff from Onyx to make sure that he's dishing out the damage, apart from his Zarya counterpart on the other side, Lisu. But FaZe 2, they're not out of it yet. They still have, you know, 1 or 2 more fights that they still have to win just to get through this, and 2 minutes are already gone from this timer.
Grab from Onyx. It's going to be what FaZe 2 are looking to set up, and Paradigm just waiting for everyone to be ready, you know, waiting for the moment to drop. maybe he's trying to set up their own grab, but it's phase 2 that has theirs first, but they don't have a self-destruct. They have to rely on keeping Duplicate alive and making sure everyone is close enough to put that damage in, but being very patient, Brett eats it! Perfect play from Paradigm. Now they'll have their grab set up in just a little bit. Phase 2, very, very low. Faz might have to either keep his barrier for the upcoming grab or use it to engage. Now the grab is thrown here from Paradigm. Phase 2 used the Transcendence and the barrier. Self-destruct from, I think it was Brett. Didn't do much. And Paradigm forced phase 2 back.
Minute left on the clock now, but still a lot expended from Paradigm to get that done. Mixo caught into a situation where he had to 1v1. Zarya actually was forced to drop his Earthshatter, and now it's going to be Paradigm sticking the fight with phase 2 and Duplicate. Huge advantage.
Yeah, that's Duplicate. He just triple shattered. Gets a few kills now. Reinforcements coming back from Paradigm, though. Mixo, you got to take down Big Boss Man if you want. There it is, phase 2. Looked like they were going for a full reset, but just baited them into a shatter. This was all calculated.
Well, if you want it, he's got it.
You got it.
It's Onyx, Pika. They're going to have something of their own as well. I'm definitely looking forward to how they want to connect this. Duplicate coming in, and because Mixo was down, there was nothing to block the Earth Shattered there. And now we'll have to see if Duplicate can take down Mixo. Both support ults ready. I mean, all 3 support ults ready, technically, with the rally coming up from Hope as well. Try to sustain in this fight, and they're going to want to just pull out as much time as possible, the same way that they did on that first point.
Paradigm have a really nice high ground control, but it's the grab thrown out from phase 2 as soon as Paradigm drop. First kill goes into phase 2's attack, taking out the main shield of Paradigm now. Way less damage mitigation. Phase 2 still up by 1, but they haven't gotten any cart distance from this. Paradigm decide to still use the barrier, down by 3. They're just, again, looking to waste as much time as possible, but it will be phase 2 coming out ahead with this fight.
So they get it done, and not only that, but they pull out everything from Paradigm, and that's exactly what they were looking to do. Now we'll have to see if they can close this next fight out. It's going to be all about trying to stay upright, trying to keep your feet underneath you when everything is going to be about control here for Paradigm, because they're going to try to grab, they're going to try to knock you over with Mixo as well. Everything is about control here for Paradigm.
Paradigm come out of the scrapyard. They're ready to scrap, and it's Lisu's grab, self-destruct from Brett. This is how they hold this defense. It doesn't break through, though. Phase 2 use the Transcendence. Now they try to set up the shatter from Duplicate, and it's equally blocked. He gets stunned from behind from Hope and dealt with. Phase 2 don't have a main shield, but they still have some hope. Can they turn things around? The answer is no. King and Faz were too far ahead, and phase 2 have to reset.
Engaging in this next fight, though, should look good for phase 2. It should look good. They have the ability to just go ahead with their combo. They have Faz's sound barrier back up now. Was able to build that up rather quickly, actually, as in terms of Lucio ults go. But now 55 seconds left. This has to be it for phase 2. It has to be it. Otherwise, they will not get this point.
Okay, grab self-destruct combo. Can they open up that shield for Mixo? They pin him, and there it is. 3 down for Paradigm. Phase 2 in cleanup mode. In the last 39 seconds, phase 2 will get point B.
Now we see them unlock it, and they get that extra time, and they're going to need probably every second of it in order to close this out, because there are 2 fights now that they have to win in order to get the payload to where they need it to take this map and secure themselves that victory in the series. But Paradigm, they're not down and out just yet. They're going to want to play this out and get aggressive here and now.
Well, they get onto the card. Phase 2, though, they're starting to surround them from all angles. Dia uses the Transcendence, so the defense are nice and healed up for the moment. They've taken out the main shield of the offensive team, and Phase 2 are at least smart about it, and they don't want to over-invest ultimates. Yeah, they used the rally, but they kept the Transcendence and the barrier.
Look how, I was saying they have to be aggressive, but you don't see this all the time, where they're just basically up in the spawn. Mixo's arm was even inside of the respawn room. They were so close defensively. Paradigm just taking that as far as they can possibly go. 1 minute left, and this could very well turn out into phase 2 trying to string together fight wins in overtime in order to take this map.
Okay, the grab Thrown out first from Paradigm. Brett, self-destruct. Oh, the shield is taken out of the picture, but phase 2 able to use the spaz barrier to keep them up. They're up by 1 on top of that, and phase 2 just breaking out of this really tough choke point here of point C with 40 seconds left, and they have to get to that yellow box of victory with quite some distance away.
All right, 30 seconds left. There is probably only one fight left that they have to win. Paradigm are going to have to set back up, so if they do lose that, it might just rattle away into, you know, maybe a stall defense or something like that, but still, phase 2 have to get into that position first before we start worrying about things like that. Well, they've got the self-destruct, but they don't have the full combo. However, Chopped with the sound barrier. Oh, they have to sustain against the self-destruct here.
Well, they use the barrier to sustain through that. The Paradigm win, they send us to game 5. A phase 2 win, they take the series 3-1. It's back and forth between these two teams, but phase 2 don't even have a main shield. Nishik, Duplicate, King are out. Onyx has to use the barrier. Only Pika is there to help them. There's just not enough damage from phase 2. Are you kidding me? Paradigm against the odds will send us into a game 5, where who knows who will take that on our final control. Alas, spin to win from King, trying to build some time for reinforcements, but Duplicate won't be allowed to play the game because he got grabbed off the cart. And there you have it. Paradigm send themselves into a game 5.
And you love to see it. Paradigm battling back into this one. They did so well on their defense and were able to take away time just the same way as they lost it on their first point attack. They did it throughout the entirety of Junkertown here, and looking so composed while being down in this situation. And I really love the way that Paradigm has been able to battle back into this series.
Ooh, I didn't think that was going to go to game 5. I thought Paradigm was starting to shake, you know. They mentally before the game, were they really in it? Because, you know, I already said it. Do they even know they can make contenders? Do they think they're out? Do they think they can get in? It's like, you're focusing on what this match means, and they're keeping their head in the game. We talked about Alpha Gaming, more formerly what they were known as in Open Division playoffs. Game 5 Kings, man. Game 5 Kings. They always won in Game 5 in Open Division playoffs. That's how they got 3rd place. And can they pull it off here? One of the most important matches for their team's career.
Yeah, and I believe we're going to be going to Ilios for this tiebreaker map 5 to determine who winds up winning this matchup. And this is such an important one too, because I mean, phase 2 really wanted to win this. They really wanted to win this matchup. This was very important for them to win because they want to be able to set themselves up well to go into contenders. Because remember, phase 2 is a team that wound up going into trials because they were bottom contenders. They wanted to basically show out that they were a team that was worth looking at going into contenders again. There's certainly a lot of good teams in trials ahead of them right now, but they still want to pull this win out. This is very important for them.
Ilios map 5. Let's get it. Paradigm, can you do it? Can you do it? Paradigm took Busan 2-1. When it comes to game 5s, they're the game 5 Kings. That's just basically what they should rename themselves. Alpha Gaming. And maybe, I mean, they were so alpha in Open Division playoffs in Game 5. That's why I like their name so much. Now rebranded to Paradigm. I don't even know what that means, but I hope it means that they're gonna slam in this Ilios.
All right. Well, I mean, they always did do it on Nepal, right? So maybe Ilios, it will translate, or maybe it won't work out because they only wind up doing that much better on Nepal. But we'll have to see, because starting things off here on Ilios, it's going to be the 3-3 versus 3-3 matchup. Although things could get a little bit more interesting as things go along. But remember, Paradigm holds the clutch factor all the way through playoffs. All the way through playoffs, and we'll have to see if that extends here.
Phase 2, we'll see what they come out the doors with, but both these teams, you know, were known for, in the start of their trials, trying out some DPS. But I think all of NA realized that to be the best GOATS team puts you so much farther ahead, and it's a less of a risk to run you know, your triple support at the very least and run full goats. Sometimes you've seen teams, you know, sacrifice the diva, which won't be the case here, because why would you risk anything in a game 5? Ilios out the gates. It's Zen goats versus Zen goats.
And I want to see these teams come out swinging, try to get into position quickly. You already see Paradigm very much in position already, but they're going to actually deny that hallway defense. Phase 2 already on the point.
Mixo keeps getting booped around. He's gonna die first if he's not careful. He's got the Discord orb on him. Thankfully, He didn't die quite yet. Phase 2, though, they have that point control. Now they can use it like a fortress. They can regenerate Duplicate's shield a lot easier, getting out of line of sight. Paradigm, they start to puncture through. Mixo almost booped off the map, and it's just such chaos in the middle of this point. But that chaos trades 1-to-1. Duplicate out for phase 2. No shield for them. Paradigm's chance to answer back, but they start to lose some members here. They're trading back and forth. You had the first rally started from King, gave them an extra armor advantage, which might have been enough to give them the fight win here.
And they'll kill Dia late as well. That's control early to phase 2. You like the way that they played that too, because they got a ton of value out of their Lucio player. Faz was able to basically just keep them alive because everybody was so tightly structured. Everybody was positioned so close to each other that Faz was getting heals on everybody while also putting the pressure on anybody that came into the point. So they have sound barrier available to them already.
But at least we didn't see grabs in the first fight. We might have saw a shatter, but it'll be up to the grabs that decide this second fight. It's Paradigm, get ready. Oh, Brett eats Onyx's grab. Now it's up to Lisu to clap back. Can you set it up? Or will Pika deny it just like you did? Brett gets ready with his self-destruct. This is the combo Paradigm need. Grab is thrown, self-destruct over top here for Brett. Pika also has his own self-destruct just to kind of confuse everybody. And Onyx is dead first here for phase 2, but just used the barrier. What a shatter from Duplicate. Dia is there with the healing of the Transcendence. Paradigm, they start to break through onto the point. Phase 2, meanwhile, they accumulate the percentage points.
Oh, Faz almost thrust out the point, but they do still have the lead, and he's going to come back into the fight and hopefully extend that for them.
All of these fights have just been back and forth. It's coming down to the last 2 versus 2, 3 versus 3 now currently on the point. But it's phase 2 or just a little bit tankier, having their Diva and Zarya still alive. Paradigm paying the price. Now it's 75% plus for phase 2, keeping that one.
Faz is going to give me a heart attack. He fell off the map like 3 times in that fight, but just somehow found a way to connect those skates onto the wall and climb his way back up into the fight. So they never lost that lead, and he's going to be very close to a beat, and that's very important for them at 90% here, where desperation comes into play for Paradigm trying to get to the objective.
Mixo looking to set up a shatter. He's playing very aggressive now with that projected barrier, but he's got to be careful. Has to hold up his shield. He's getting booped left, right, and center. Slams it down, gets Pika, but thankfully the Transcendence from Nishik is there. Grab from Lisu. Paradigm need to flip it here or they will lose this first round of Ilios. Mixo's going Mixo mode on the point. Chop gets a double boop kill. It's huge. Paradigm get the flip at the last second.
And this is okay for them. I mean, they have to make sure that they're staying calm, right? This is very important for them at this point in time, because going into this next fight, phase 2 have held on to things that could be very dangerous for the future of Paradigm's hopes and dreams on this map here. Although, if they're able to win this next fight and pull out combo from Onyx and Pika, this could be very big for them.
Duplicate just got projected into the field, but he's still alive. Barrier's forced to use from both teams. Duplicate is still low. Swung away. Phase 2. No main tank, but they still have a grab self-destruct. Do they decide to invest it here? They have time to reset, and you can see they're not wanting to invest anymore. Ultimates, they just jump off the map.
They hang in there, but they didn't pull everything out that I think they would have liked to. I think that they would have liked to see down at the very least. But hey, sound barrier might be just enough, and we already see the graviton drop from Lisu. Oh, they actually just killed Lisu. They took him out of the fight. Now it's 65 advantage.
He solo grab the opposing Zarya to get that grab. That's still super huge value. Duplicate slams it down, gets a bunch. Dia, Transcendence, he's always so clutch with these. Paradigm still alive and well. Pika self-destruct onto the point and still gets a double kill. And they opened up Mixo's shield for that. Huge advantage for phase 2. Now they get the flip. Can Paradigm get enough time to get reinforcements? Seems Brett is there to keep the overtime wick burning. Lisu is there with Grav. He throws it out, but there's no one to put damage into it. Phase 2 are exactly where they want to be. They don't let Hammond inside that point. That's 100 to 70 for phase 2.
Lisu, I mean, caught completely off guard there. And that's one of those scenarios where, you know, a solo grab actually makes a ton of sense, because by getting that advantage, you take the Zarya out of the fight. You don't have to worry about going grab for grab. And you have that 6v5 advantage you could push in with. Now, the best case scenario for the opposition is that they come in late with a Graviton of their own, it's a lot more difficult to be able to pull a combo off late into a fight like that, unless you truly do have a lot of team synergy, which at this stage is a lot to ask of these teams. So we move into Ruins now, and we will see this battle continue between these two teams. Phase 2 want to take this here and now on Ruins and lock this one down.
It's just these little decisions in the start of these fights, like, do you grab the opposing Zarya to get rid of the grab? And the fact that Dia has been able to stay alive to use Transcendence, you know, when his team gets shattered, when his team gets grabbed. This is these little moments you have to keep your eye on during a GOATS versus GOATS matchup. Mixo, he's going to be leading the charge here for Paradigm, who now have the positional point advantage. Duplicate gets surrounded and booped into the line of fire. Phase 2 without a main tank once again, and they won't be able to flip this one. Yes, they trade the Reinhardt, but they're still down by 1. Nishik actually equalizes the odds here for Phase 2, but it still will be Paradigm that can potentially go for the first take here.
And they're just pulling everybody, or pushing rather, everybody off the point. They already have control, and now they can kind of take their time cleaning up. Everybody's healthy here, so now cleaning up means just more control for you in the long run, more score that's being accrued for you long term. But Phase 2, 15% given away so far. Everybody coming up off of respawn. Now it's all about getting in there quickly and trying to deny that score line from getting it too much higher for Paradigm.
Okay, at least Onyx has grabbed first, but Paradigm give up that space. They don't want to get grabbed because they're being too aggressive. They go towards the point, and Phase 2 look to set it up. Still with the grab. Maybe they also want to wait for Pika self-destruct, and they want to close that distance so Duplicate can put more damage in. And you still have to worry about, it's still Shatter versus Shatter. You don't even have to worry about the grabs to start.
Well, they're hanging in there for now, but we do see the Transcendence ready to sustain them from Dia. They may not even need it, though. Look at the cleanup there. Paradigm, just as quickly as that fight started, it was just simply over.
I really liked Brett's self-destruct. Was on top of the pillar, and he just, like, pushes it off. Kind of like cats who always like knock stuff off counters. Kind of what that felt like. But Phase 2, now going on their next attack. You know, this has been Paradigm keeping all their energy, keeping this momentum. Onyx constantly having to reset. Now a grab is thrown from Onyx. Duplicate kind of got booped out, so it took a while for Phase 2 to start putting damage into that grab. They broke down Mixo's shield, and that will be the retake for Phase 2.
And they're looking to clean this up now, and 83%. 84% make it. Phase 2 need to battle back from Duplicate. He's been a little bit quieter so far here on Ilios, but we'll have to see if he can make a little bit more noise with that hammer hitting the ground and maybe dropping everybody else from Paradigm to the floor as well behind it. But Faz looking to displace anybody he can. Actually, they're just forced back.
Well, Duplicate Shatter has to split the earth in half if he wants to take this back. They took down Mixo. This could be a free shatter for Duplicate, but they could also conserve it. They've gotten 2 down here for Paradigm, and they're already resetting. Look at them chase them back into spawn.
Yeah, I think if you do go to that side again for Paradigm, you can actually force a really clean boot from Faz or even someone like King and just knock Mixo to the side or just knock him up just enough where Duplicate can actually land that Earth Shatter. That's an opportunity Phase 2 can take here, but they instead go for the grab.
Yeah, that opportunity, they kind of grabbed him right at the doorway, and they just couldn't break through. And nice block from Duplicate. Mixo's Shatter not going to do much, and now it's the responsive grab from Lisu that clearly opens up an opportunity for Paradigm. They even use the Transcendence from Dia to make sure their aggression is going to be worthwhile. Phase 2, they get back to the point. They really just want to throw bodies on there. Even a self-destruct at the doorway is interesting from Pika, but they're just extending their lead at this point.
Yeah, they just want to sustain for as long as possible and play into the beat late into this one, but Faz didn't catch very many people with that, and King drops.
Well, that's enough time burnt that Phase 2, their reinforcements are back, but Duplicate's under fire, and the barrier from Paradigm leading their aggression right through the front line here of Phase 2. Again, no flip has gone through yet. Phase 2, they get this to 90% plus, means they only need a fight win, and they will take the Game 5.
But at least Phase 2 gave themselves a shot, 94% from 0 initially. And now, because they did get that flip early enough, they do have the opportunity here to get the win. But in order to do that, they have to break through Mixo, who is a brick wall. very often.
Oh, Grav versus Grav, no self-destructs from either side, and well, there's your fourth C9 off the point, 194 for Paradigm to go into the last round of this game 5.
And you see that quite often now with everybody wanting to play cohesively, like everybody together and everything like that. The main thing that you want to do if you're the team that is aggressing onto the point is send your Lucio or send your Diva actually to the side so they don't get grabbed and so that you can contest. Although we do, just as often as we see that happening, that contest actually go through, we see teams forgetting that that's an option or getting prevented when it does happen as well. So not going to work out for them. They don't get the contest that they want.
I'm loving this Roadhog though here. Onyx is serious with it. Fast goes on the Mercy to also power boost King. We're seeing something completely different from phase 2, and we'll see if it pays off.
And I like this comp actually because between the boops that you get, between the halts, the hooks as well, they're going to really play off. He was sick.
Oh, Mixo is going to be on the Winston. The dive goes here of Paradigm, who are looking to just collapse on this more bunker setup from phase 2, but it's King who finds some shots into Mixo. No Diva for Paradigm, but equal trades means Paradigm will get that first cap.
And I think you're going to see a swap here from phase 2. If they got control early on that one, they would have been able to hold out, but retaking with an Orisa comp, especially when you have the Roadhog as well, it's so difficult. So they're going to swap things out. They're going to go over to the Winston setup, go head-to-head in that matchup, but obviously Paradigm with a huge advantage. They already have their supports in a position where they're set up defensively, and they're that much closer to the win condition of having the Primal Rage.
And now they'll be on the back foot in the Zarya energy, in the Grav build-up. Lisu proving me right, melts 2 members already of phase 2. In the 6 versus 4, Paradigm didn't have to invest a single ultimate, and they'll have Grav for the next one.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be a surprise if Paradigm wind up holding this out for, another fight or two, because these late swaps mean that phase 2 actually have to build to some kind of advantage to actually be able to retake this point. So it's going to take some time, and that's only natural. So phase 2 now just have to make sure that they're pulling as much out as they possibly can from Paradigm, force out everything that you can possibly get so that you have the best opportunity to take this later on.
Well, Mixo is frontlining here for Paradigm. He has a Primal Pika, denies Lisa's grab. That's going to even up the odds perfectly. Paradigm, though, they're still pressuring phase 2 so well. And now Nishik gets forced to use the Transcendence barrier from Chopped. Now dwindles away, and phase 2 just trying to break out of this tiny space. They do get 1 kill onto Hope. Phase 2 will have the Primal, and this is how they build even more space, or at least keep Duplicate's life. But they divide and conquer Paradigm at 82+%, though. It took them quite some time to get there.
Well, it's still not over just yet. Everybody's coming back from spawn, and Chopped is just kind of taking these solo kills left and right, so they might even be able to sustain up above 90%, which means now there's no other opportunity that phase 2 can take advantage of, like they did in Ruins, where they have that retake potential if they wind up losing one fight. It's too difficult. I think now you only have 8 seconds once the cap comes out, so phase 2 have to be flawless now. They have to be absolutely flawless. No mistakes can be made for phase 2 because of this score line that they have to work with.
I want to see Pika eat another grab. You need to do it. And Paradigm, if they get that grab combo off, they will take Ilios game 5. Now you can see they get ready at the front. Pika eats it! Are you kidding me? This guy is so clutch. Self-destruct from Brett, still sent at the back. Transcendence from Paradigm. They're using ults despite this loss. Now a grab is ready from Onyx. He dies with it. Self-destruct from Pika. Should clear at least Brett out of mech. It's back and forth between these two teams. Meanwhile, phase 2 just want to get closer and closer to 99 and 100%. Duplicate is going to stall this one out with the Primal. Wants them to get some environmental kills, but not finding too much success with that. Paradigm, they start to set their players up for the flip. Pika's looking to deny it. He doesn't want to sacrifice the mech, though, and phase 2, they give it up.
Such a clutch boop there from Chopped, and now they're gonna have the sound barrier coming up pretty soon here, but they're gonna have to battle.
Need to get on it.
They have to touch right now.
At least they touched. They got Nishik's Transcendence. You need to keep Duplicate alive. The barrier from Paradigm, though, sustains them way later. No kills yet. Paradigm, they start the rally, but Phase 2 lost Duplicate. They're just all types of divided right now. They're not playing together. They're just so desperate to stay on the point to keep the overtime wick burning. But Paradigm in the number advantage. Now a late Transcendence just extends out even more. More healing, more sustain. Phase 2 just have no space to work with. Paradigm seconds away from this overtime wick to burn away. 100 to 60 will close out this game 5 for Paradigm.
And they get back into it. That hot streak for Phase 2 is unfortunately for them over. 3-2 victory and a big one indeed for Paradigm. They started the match off strong on a control map. They end it just the same on a control map as well. Really solid stuff from Chop, especially on that third map. I think he actually played his best on well, but here you can see Paradigm getting a lot of value out of their Lucio player, and that's what you need in this matchup.
Paradigm, what'd we say, man? What did we say? Game 5 Kings took Busan, took control. Hey, if you're amazing at control, that will win you games, apparently. It was Busan for Paradigm, Kings Row for Phase 2, and Volskaya for Phase 2, but then Paradigm answered back with a win on Junkertown and Ilios. What an amazing series we just saw between these two teams. And I'm super excited to get into our next match as well between two juggernauts of Trials, Square One versus Chicken Contenders. Let us know in chat who you're cheering for.